I'm sorry, little kids,
but I'm a killer clown today. And bullets are gonna spray. I'm from Brooklyn. That's alright. What's up? It's a culture detective here investigating your favorite albums. And today I'm going to be doing the top 20 worst albums of 2024. Rock and roll. And I earlier, like an hour ago, I finished filming my worst songs video, and because I am running out of time, I have to follow that up immediately with top 20 worst albums of the year. So without further ado, let's get into the dishonorable mentions. Joyner Lucas with Not Now, I'm Busy. If you are interested in 1 hour of lyrical miracle, be my guest. Next one, we have the new Four Bats album, You Make Me a Star. And again, I don't have TikTok. I think this is like a TikTok album. It's like a lot of TikTok music on it. And it is essentially the most generic, boring, trite, cliche, melodramatic trap music you'll hear in the year. Next up, we have Skillet with Revolution, because they are indeed beginning a revolution, because Christian rock music will prevail. And again, some of the most loud, noisy, obnoxious rock music you'll hear all year, and their devotion to Christianity. You know, if you're really devoted to Christianity, I suggest you make gospel music instead of rock music, because this is just bad. This is just boring as hell. And finally, Young Gravy, Serving Country. Like serving cunt, but country. Haha. Okay, top 20, we have the new... Okay, I hate putting them here, by the way, because I used to be a humongous fan, and that is Coldplay's new album, Moon Music. I used to be a huge fan. Coldplay's music has been instrumental to my childhood in so many ways, but unfortunately the last couple of albums Coldplay has released have been one letdown after another. In fact, they're not letdowns. I know they're going to be bad. They just make the same ultra loud, explosive rock anthem, concert, arena-sized anthems again and again and again, especially on their new album Moon Music, which is basically the same song again and again and again. Lyrics about love is all you need, sunshine and rainbows, life is so good, life is so beautiful, positivity, yeah, and it's just so unnecessary. At number 19, you know, just because you're good at music theory doesn't mean you're a good musical artist, such as the case for Jacob Collier with Djesse. Djesse, we need to cook, Djesse. Volume 4. It's the freaking 4th volume. Are you serious? I haven't listened to the first 3 volumes, and I don't need to. This album is like the most gentrified, basic album ever. It's safe. The thing is, it plays with a lot of interesting things like odd-time signatures and polyrhythms and different layers of instrumentals. But the thing is, you can do all that and you can still suck at songwriting. Which brings us to number 18, Taylor Swift's new album, The Tortured Poets Department. Not the Tortured Poets Society. That's not. Tortured Poets Department. And yeah, this is easily, hands down, the most boring album Taylor Swift has released. And also the fact that she released this album again and again and again and again and again with a deluxe edition, with a extended edition, with a Japanese version, and a a French version, and the French version deluxe version, and the new hidden deluxe upside down reverse. I don't know. She keeps releasing the same album again and again and again so that this album would stay on the Billboard's top albums chart for a very ridiculously long time, because she is that petty. Every time another artist like, I don't know, Charlie XCX would have an album chart at the top, Taylor Swift would be like, you know what? This would be the perfect time to release the UK version of the Tortured Poets Department. Like what the hell is a UK version? The Tortured Poets Department. Is that what that album is? Yeah, very petty, very boring. Number 17 actually. We have one of the most disgraceful cases of grave robbing in the year. And that is Speaker Knockerz with the GOAT. So rapper Speaker Knockerz passed away a decade ago in 2014. And 10 fucking years later, it's been 10 years, and the record label decides to dig up his grave and release a bunch of unfinished demo beats, not even rapping on top, just beats. Why? I don't know. And the beats aren't even that good. There is no way Speaker Knockerz would have released these beats if he was still alive, because they're not even that good. So why is this album released? I don't know. It's a disgrace. It's insulting. It's offensive. And it is not something that I would like to see in 2025. Even though it could very much happen, because record labels love money. Now, at number 16, we have Ian with Valedictorian, and he is a culture vulture. And there will be 2 more rappers on this list who I will call culture vultures. But essentially, Ian here raps, and he pretends to be Playboi Carti. He rips off Playboi Carti and raps the same trite, cliche, boring track again and again and again and again and again. Not only is it boring, but literally every element of his music is stolen from another artist. Now, I'm not against white rappers. In fact, there are tons of amazing white rappers out there. Tons. But what Ian is doing here is that A, he has no voice. He has no experience. He's 19. I just found out he's 19 years old. The dude is an infant. Let's be honest here. 19, you're a baby. But also, when you have no lived experience and you don't have style, your beats are terrible, and you rip off Playboi Carti on every single track, you're nothing but a culture vulture. And that's the brutal truth. I'm sorry. And also, he does a bit of a comedy rap, and the joke is that he's white. Very funny. Number 15, Lil Uzi Vert's Eternal Atake 2. Boring. 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 Number 14, speaking of boring, 6ix9ine, Blackballed. This album is only 19 minutes long, which makes me think it's just an EP, but an EP so bad I have to include it on this list. And what can I say? Boring, boring, boring. 6ix9ine, I mean, isn't the guy in jail or something? Didn't the guy get to prison a few years ago? What the hell is he doing? I don't know, but whatever the case may be, 6ix9ine's music continues to be some of the most boring, and it will, I'm afraid, get more and more boring as we move on. Now, at number 13, we have an album from Australia, and not the first Australian album on this list. I mean, not the only Australian album, and that is Sia with Reasonable Woman. If you want to listen to a whole album of melodramatic screaming and shouting, epic ass dramatic music, go check this one out, because oh my god, this album is like the most melodramatic, or one of the most melodramatic things you will hear all year. Number 12, I got a bit of backlash, a tiny bit of backlash after reviewing this album last week. And this album is Netspend with Badass Fucking Kid. And this is the second out of 3 culture vultures in this list. Again, culture vulture. He makes trap rap, cloud rap music, a la, you know, whatever, a la Blade, I guess. But the thing is, you're 17. You are an infant. You are an embryo. Bro, you're just conceived. You were just born. You're only 17. You're nothing. You're an embryo. And you're making music with a lot of swear words and multiple tracks about gang violence and sex. Like, you're just a child. You shouldn't be experiencing these things. B, they're illegal, actually. Like, where are your parents? Are your parents properly teaching you and educating you? Because at this point, I don't even blame the kid. Maybe the kid is put up to do this. Maybe the kid had no choice. I don't know, but bad parenting is honestly one of the biggest problems in America right now, and this album is proof. Now we have number 11, and that is none other than Miss Katy Perry with 143. Another generic, another absolutely soulless album full of pop songs that sounds like they came out of 2016. Like, again, Katy Perry is like sealed in a block of ice and then woke up in 2024 and decided to drop this album. But it's hilarious because in 2021 or 2022, she was also making music. It's just that no one remembers it. But 143 in particular is her trying to be new and edgy, and it just completely falls flat. She just cannot do it. This album is cheesy. Now, speaking of cheesy, we have entered the top 10. At number 10, we have G-Eazy. I just came up with that. G-Eazy with Freakshow.
Boy, without a mom, but still I gotta stay strong. Yeah, but if you ain't right, what else are you good at besides doing drugs and handsome to look?
Because he is like the Joker, you know, and he wrestles with his fame and his popularity and the show business, the music industry. But the thing is, how do you wrestle with your fame when no one listens to your music? Yeah, this is corny. It's cheesy. G-Eazy is like, he's like the Joker on this album. He's like, oh, all this fame is getting to me, and I'm going insane, and I'm saying all these things, and I'm losing my mind. And no, it's not that serious. Move on, bro. At number 9, we have another pop album. Number 9 and 8, actually. 2 pop albums that makes me want to throw up and blow my minds out. The former being Camila Cabello's XOXO. So Camila Cabello, after being the nice, good, fun girl, decides to rebrand herself, and the person she looks up to when rebranding herself is none other than Charli XCX. So throughout this entire album, she just pretends to be Charli XCX, but instead of having the swag and the demeanor of Charli XCX, Camila Cabello has everything but. She has no charm, her music is bland, they're not catchy, they're not danceable, and it just sounds absolutely annoying, especially with tracks like I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. It just sounds like she's trying way too hard to sound modern and new and Gen Z appealing. It just doesn't work at all. I'm sorry. I also forgot to mention that not only is there a Drake feature on this album, there's a whole Drake song, like, not featuring Drake. There's a literal Drake song in the middle of this album. Like, what the hell is going on between Camila Cabello and Drake? Like, what the hell is going on? And speaking of annoying pop albums, at number 8, we have the most obnoxious album of the year, and that is Meghan Trainor with Timeless.
Pictures on your phone, That's called an uh-oh.
Yeah, this is absolutely obnoxious. She tries to revive 1950s, 1960s soul and doo-wop music, but all that only points to the fact that he's the kind of person who would freak out if the function doesn't have coleslaw. Because what is this? White Mom Wednesday? I know I made this joke already in my worst songs video, but honestly, from now on, whenever I talk about Meghan Trainor, I have to make this joke. She's just a big fan of coleslaw, let's be honest here. Because she takes these genres, waters them down, gentrifies them, pound them, grind them into nothing but soulless, boring, watered down nothingness. And not only that, but she's so self-serious on this album. She's so sassy. She has such a mean, cheeky, smug attitude that just makes me feel repulsive when I listen to the album. Now, speaking of repulsive, at number 7, we have Lil Dicky, Penith. Penith, haha. Dick cocks penises. That's so funny. This is
like vanilla bean. I like drinking Hennessy. I got a lot of rapper in me paws. Now they rap
a comedy rap album where he raps about dicks and penises, and it's not funny at all, but also incredibly annoying. So yeah, Penith, I guess, haha. Number 6, I completely forgot this album even existed. I didn't know this album even exists, or I didn't remember until I look at my own videos. And this album is the new Gunna album, One of One.
I told her pull up again, making a little stretch. Give me some head in the back of the band, grip in the back of the
yeah, like, boring. Oh my god. This is so insanely boring. Gunna has never made a single interesting album. Every single album he makes is the same boring copy and paste album ever. Every single track sounds exactly the same. Very low effort. The lyrics are probably written in 5 minutes. The mixing and mastered is done in 10 minutes. The whole album is made in 2 days. That's how low effort this album is. I remember nothing from this album. I listened to it, a few seconds later, I've completely forgotten about everything about it. Now, we have our number 5 spot. I didn't even know this album exists until Fantano had reminded me, of course. It's Tones and I with Beautifully Ordinary. Now, this is admittedly a huge improvement upon her last album, which is still one of the worst abominations in music history in the last few years, but this is still terrible. This is still awful. Her voice sounds like sandpaper to my ears. It's rough, raspy, and her singing is just trying too hard. She pushes herself extremely hard to these high falsettos, and man, get yourself a vocal coach, please. But also, this is an album full of melodramatic ballads. It's full of crying, and by crying, I don't mean crying with tears. I'm saying crying for help, kind of crying. It's so... my tongue. It's so melodramatic. It's so engulfed in emotions. It's so drowning in emotions. It's, yeah. Number 4, speaking of melodramatic, MGK and Trippie Redd, genre sad boy. Wow, what a sad boy. Look at them on the album cover. They're so sad. Oh, they're so emo. They're They're looking angry and they're standing like this. They must be emo. Wow. Yeah, this is like the most watered down, gentrified, the most reduced to zero emo pop music of the year. It's boring, it's cliche. They sing about mental illness, and don't get me wrong, mental illness is a huge problem. It is something to be dealt with, but they sing about them without a lick of depth. They have the lyrical depth of a kid's swimming pool, and the songwriting is pure cringe. It's an EP, but it's so bad I have to include it on this list. Now, top 3 of the year. God, I just want to get this over with. Number 3, the biggest culture vulture on this list. I'm giving it to Lil Mabu with Young Genius.
Young cracker and I'm back up in his bitch. Put down the pencils and pick.
So you know how I mentioned Ian? You know how I mentioned Netspend? Now get ready for Lil Mabu, who is take all of those things, crappy songwriting, crappy lyrics, terrible beats, plagiarism, and take it to this album. Because every single track here, especially the drill rap on this album, is just a ripoff. There is no identity in this album. There is no soul in this album. There is no purpose in this album. He is making and copy pasting tracks one after another just for some quick, easy money. Even he himself admits it in his own lyrics. And once again, what does he rap about? Being white privilege. He raps about being pulled over by a cop, and of course he pays the police and he drives off. Wow, what a huge problem. And the thing is, you're 19 years old. You're a child. You're an infant. You're 19. You're nothing. Go out there, live a little before you make more music, because this is not funny. This is not funny. This is not clever. This is cheesy. It's boring, and we don't need any more of this. Okay, number 2. I'm gonna go drink some water. At number 2, I am giving it to Jax with Dear Joe. Yes. Where do I even begin with this TikTok album? The lyrics on this album sound like they're written by a 14-year-old. And also, Jax cannot sing for her life. At some high notes, she sounds like Kermit the Frog.
But I choose violence. I choose war. Yeah. I feel bad for your ex-girlfriend. This bunker's full. Sorry, Kate.
But essentially, Jax tackles a bunch of lyrical topics like personal relationship problems, jealousy, and also maybe some other socio-politically conscious stuff with the smug attitude of a 14-year-old high school girl. And as if that's not bad enough, there are 7 interludes on this album. 7 interludes! And all of them are ukulele ballads, like it's Toxic Gossip Train or something. And the first interlude on this album is called Hawk Tua. Kill me. So now we have number 1 worst album of the year. Drum roll please, I guess. Falling in Reverse. Popular Monster. Oh my god, this album.
I'm the bad guy, I'm a savage, I'm obsessive, I'm dramatic, I'm a loner.
Like, I mean, right off the bat when you look at the album cover and it's the mugshot of Ronnie Radke, you already know you're in for a masterpiece, because this album is so bad It's honestly a masterpiece. It's an album full of alt metal songs, super overblown, super loud, because loud equals angry. So of course, if you want to sound angry, just make it louder. Loud equals angry, overblown, super epic, dramatic. Like the climax of a Marvel film, the climax of a DC film, kind of dramatic. And it's just Ronald Radke being the most unnecessarily hateful person ever. Of course, the worst song of the year, in my opinion, is Ronald, and it also is on this album as one of the lead-up singles, where he basically paints himself, on this entire album, he paints himself as this ultra evil villain, scheming to destroy the world. I will watch the world burn down. Yeah! But also on this album, not only does he ask why people hate him, but he also at the same time, for some reason, paints himself as the bad guy. On the song, Bad Guy. I'm a bad guy, I'm a savage, I'm obsessive, I'm dramatic, I'm an asshole, I'm hateful, I'm petty, I'm this, I'm that, believe the rumors, I'm as bad as they say. And then literally on the next track he's gonna be like, why does everyone hate me? Cancel culture is too real. And it's just like, dude, grow up. Why are you so petty? Why are you acting like a teenager? And then of course we have a song where he talks about how he's hearing voices in his head. Voices in my head telling me to kill. Voices in my head telling me to hurt others. Voices in my head. And then of course it doesn't end there. There's a song about the woke mob. The woke mob is out to get me. Oh no, they're not letting go. Things I said on Twitter 10 years ago. They're canceling you. I'm serious. That is the actual chorus of the song. They're canceling you. And on top of that, there's a piano solo at the end of the song. It's completely lacks self-awareness. It's corny, it's cheesy, but also it's baffling to me that this album isn't satire. It's so ridiculous. It's so insane, yet he's serious. He's actually serious about this shit. Oh my god. This is a masterpiece. This is amazing. So, yeah. Also, there's a Kanye West album, but I haven't even listened to that because I'm not interested in listening to that. So, the worst album of the year, Falling in Reverse, Popular Monster. So, have you listened to these albums? What are your worst albums of the year? Comments below. Let me know. Subscribe if you want more. And thanks for watching. Jesus Christ, my tongue hurts.